Welcome, race fans. This is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCars. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Teague. You can expect high speeds, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you could only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engine.
Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gotzo. Welcome to RaceVerse coverage of round 2 of Season 7 of the Dark Horse DW12 series, coming today from Legacy Pocono Speedway. Joining me in the booth for most of this season, and I got a heck of an intro for him because, well, he's earned it. He's a regular participant in the Indy Fixed, Indy Open, Lionheart, CIS, EIS, and multiple other IndyCar leagues on iRacing. He's a member of Team Talent, Team Chimera, among other power squads. He's a big-time player in the iRacing IndyCar community. He has an entire strength of field race named after him. He is the reason I am doing this broadcast. It is my distinct honor to welcome the catalyst of RaceVerse to the broadcast, Andrew Wood.
Oh man, I'm laughing at that intro. There's so many things about that that are true, not true, or maybe not true, but all stuff that kind of pumps me up to be something that I'm just a regular guy. But yeah, it's definitely super cool to be here with you tonight, Gary.
Well, we are here at Legacy Pocono with the DW12s, a combination that works quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's a couple of different forms of this track. There's the Legacy that we're racing on tonight, and then the new Pocono. And each track kind of runs a little different, but we're going to be running the Legacy Pocono tonight, which has its own sort of breadth and different styles of lines that these drivers will have to get used to tonight.
Yeah, I would say the biggest difference is the bumps, possibly?
Yes, definitely the bumps.
The bumps.
The tunnel turn in particular, before repaved, it's going to be one of those things where the drivers have to navigate a different sort of racing line through the tunnel turn.
Minute 50 left to play. We have at the top of the charts, as I refresh my overlay here, Ryan Bowles, 2:18.7. Nick DeGroot, 2:18.7. Wishing Nick a much better race than what we saw last week in the ERL. Didn't make it much past 5 miles and a 500-miler in a wreck that collected him to no fault of his own in turn 1. So we're looking for a longer night for Nick. He is now P3. Charles Teed to the top with a speed of a 2:18.8. And while I got speeds here, let me talk about track records. And once again, and you know this as well as I do, Andrew, if anyone tells you that any other of these tracks, these three that are constructed to make Pocono, they are wrong, okay? So it's Trenton, turn 1, Indianapolis, turn 2, Milwaukee, turn 3. If they tell you any other tracks in any other order, they are wrong. I think we're both in agreement there. But the track record back when USAC first ran here, when it became part of the USAC Triple Crown, Peter Revson driving for McLaren, F1 fame, 1973, the lap of 190.468 miles per hour. Emerson Fittipaldi has a kart record, and we're probably looking at the conditions closest to what the kart cars actually ran here back in the days, considered the older version of Pocono. He had a 211.715 driving for Patrick Ganassi Racing. And then the IndyCar track record when they came back in these particular cars, Juan Pablo Montoya driving for Team Penske in 2014 with a lap of 223.8. Your career wins leaders here are A.J. Foyt with 4, to nobody's surprise there. Rick Mears, Will Power, there's a surprise for you. Will Power has 3 500-mile wins here. A lot of people forget that. Danny Sullivan, Alan Sr., Bobby Unser, each with 2. And that's it. We are getting ready to go racing. And Rafi Eckert has had a big day. He's gone right to the top of the charts.
Yeah, it's definitely a very impressive qualifying. Actually, it looks like Edson Santos got very close to his time there for pole position, but Raphael put that time out first, so that'll be him on pole position.
And we'll get the we're gonna swap rows of three here between me and you. So I got we'll start off with Rafi Eckert on the pole with a 41-1. Edson Santos, his teammate. Big day for their team. They won the VOR team championship earlier today. He had a 41-1. Man, they are 41-1-6-1 each. So they went down to the 4th decimal point to decide who was going to be on the pole. And we don't see that in timing and scoring. We only see the 3 decimal points. Warren Rogers, P3. Charlie Teed, the boss man here in P4. Yari Brubacher, JB with P5. And Ryan Bowles, P6. You want to pick up the next 3?
Yes, Nick DeGroot is P7. Probably not the best qualifying that he would have hoped for. He probably expects to be a little bit farther forward, but that'll be a good spot for him to save some fuel. We got Lee Kane, P8. AJ Hobson is P9, and Eric Schaus rounding out row 5 in P10. Gary Lovern, P11, and Kevin McCarthy in P12.
Moving on, Eric Peterson sending best wishes to he and his family, P13. Brad Adams, 14th. Gary Corley, 15th. Casey Putsky, 16th. Chris Stouffer, the veteran, P17. And also from the VOR series earlier today, Julian Altina, P18.
We have Matt Wagner in row number 10, Elmer Joseph on the outside there, Taylor Reeves, Joseph Morales, and David Hanger. William Swenson is the back of the field. So, yeah, these guys at the back are definitely going to try and find their way forward. Maybe they can find a way to save some fuel, but it's going to be a pretty wild one here tonight.
And we are waiting for the pace car to roll off. And on cue.
Yeah, we're going to be 2x2x2 all the way down the field here. Yeah, with 100 laps in this race, Gary, I really do think that you're going to see some of these mid-pack guys immediately right off the bat try their best to save some fuel. They're going to be kind of holding back a little bit, not trying to really make their way forward. You'll see some of these guys maybe in the bottom part of the top 10 try to get to the front. Looking at AJ Hobson in particular, he's always someone who wants to ride as fast as he can to get up to the front. But I think the name of the game here, especially with 100 laps and doing around like 29, 30 laps on full burn, on a full tank, I think they're going to want to try and save some fuel and save their tires for when the guys up front waste all their fuel.
So what are we looking at for the number of stops, you think, ideally?
Yeah, if we go full green from beginning to end, you can expect 2 stops with a little bit of fuel saving. I think everyone's going to do 3 stops, but I think that there will be some caution thrown in there that will throw the whole entire strategy up into a tizzy.
We're watching the pace car through the tunnel turn. That is the entrance to the infield there at Pocono Raceway in the Pocono Mountains. The old used to be the honeymoon capital of the United States back in the day. And we're coming around to turn 3. There's some flights, depending on what route you bring into Newark, that will bring you right over this area. And I was fortunate one time just to kind of peek out my window and look down and see this really weird triangle in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely don't want to ever mention that there's a turn 4 at this track because it's very easy to do.
Okay, so we have some sneakers on the outside of the row 3 trying to take a run on the outside of Charles Teed. That was, I believe that was JB trying to take that move. No, that was Ryan Bowles trying to take that move on the outside. Immediately Teed blocks. We're 5 wide going in the 1 already.
Yes, that's very Pocono right there. Just try and find any clean area you can. We got 3 wide back in row 4 or 5 or so.
Yeah, I still remember that very iconic shot from NBC, when IndyCar and NBC, when they came here in these cars, where they were 6, 7 wide. Oh, hit that. We got a wreck. We got a big wreck in the middle. We saw someone clip the inside. Not sure who that is. Lee Kane's involved. Going to rewind it here, go back in the Wayback Machine to see what happened, but there was very clearly a car on the inside. and I'm not
think
sure.
It might have been Nick DeGroot, actually. It got a little loose on the curb.
Nick. Oh, no. Yeah, he clicked the rumble strips and moves up and gets into Stouffer. And 4 cars at least involved here.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate that, yeah, it might have been a cold tire situation where he feels like he might have had the opportunity to turn down and get in there, but felt a little wiggle and had to straighten the car out. And yeah, it's very unfortunate that the cars were set to go 2x2, but as I mentioned in the pre-race, it seemed like there was a nice bump there that might have unsettled the car as well.
He's probably not wanting me to call any more Pocono races that he's racing in now. Yeah, sorry, Nick. We feel for you there. But as the saying goes that we'd like to say sometimes on RaceVerse, I'm not sure if you echo this too, is apron bad.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what position back that incident might have affected everyone. Looks like the top 5 got through just fine, but it was the bottom part of the top 10 that was actually trying to make their way forward that just got involved and just hope for the best to try and sneak through.
All right, let's take a stroll through the field. Charles T, JB, Eric Schaus, AJ Hobson up 3 spots. Schaus up 5. Kevin McCarthy up 5. Stouffer, I inadvertently identified him as part of the wreck. He was not. Brian Adams. Brian Adams. That's Brad Adams. Brian Adams is the Canadian. Brad Adams.
Yes, there's a lot of famous Brian Adams there.
Kerry Lovern looks like made it through. Julian Altena right behind his teammate Lovern. Corley Joseph. Matt Wagner made it through. Let's see.
And actually, I think the first car to make it through unscathed is Brad Adams. He was able to everyone that was ahead of Brad Adams and behind Nick DeGroot all got some piece of it. So I think Brad Adams might actually be okay here.
Good.
And then everyone that's right behind him just kind of sifted their way through it. But it was that like P6 to P13 or so that got a piece of it.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. Who is we got William Swinson coming out of the pits. Not entirely sure if that had to do with damage or that's just I was at the back of the field, might as well top off the tanks and get a new set of tires. Pit stop. Right behind him, we got Ryan Bowles coming off of pit road in the Weather Channel car. Lee Kane is back underway after getting repaired. Warren Rogers, that was the car that I thought was Stouffer. He's still sitting on pit road now. He is rolling off. Eric Peterson looks like he is kind of letting cars pass him. He might be going for an EOL. Just let people get situated in front of him here.
Yeah, I think these guys have a fast repair.
Yeah, they must have one. Yep.
So I think they might get one fast repair to get back in, which may sort of reset everything, especially for those guys that were at the bottom part of the top 10 and finding their way back onto the field again. They may just be a little bit behind, and again, it's lap 3 right now, so you'll see some guys that maybe top off a little bit to do that fuel save that I was mentioning before, but they're all back in the race again. So anyone that wasn't completely on their lid is going to be back in this again.
Right. Got Nick DeGroot now making the run back to his spot. He's going to hit the pit road one more time.
And again, if these guys are running the full fuel tanks in this league, then this is a better opportunity for them to do it on 2 stops. Just this long yellow period.
Not sure what Nick is doing. He came to a stop on pit road, and he's sitting there kind of at the entrance. Maybe a break or restroom break of some sort. Run away.
That's a very bizarre place to place yourself. He's moving again.
But he is moving again.
He may have been trying to smack himself in the head a few times and say, "Come on, Nick, wake up. You're much better than this." It looks like a very self-pronounced EOL there, so and a line penalty. So he's going to start at the back. His car looks pretty clean, so we'll rack him up and start all over again.
And let's make sure we are watching live shots. Yeah, we are. Nick DeGroot Curley is showing in 24th at the back of the pack. Out of that, unfortunately, there were some people that had to tow and are down a lap. Lee Kane, Bowles, Rogers, and DeGroot are, but it looks like the Fast Repair will keep them in the battle. We did see at the ERL last week that Jason Brophy went a lap down and pulled a half of Villeneuve on a 500-mile race and brought himself back up to the win. So it is possible to go here. And speaking of go time, it's go time for Edson Santos, your leader, green flag, lap 4 here at Pocono, going to lap 5.
Yeah, we have a nice clean start from everyone in the back of the field. Everyone got going just fine. We have a couple people right at the back that are trying to make some moves early, but everyone's getting back up to speed, so not sure it's going to happen.
Corley on the high side over Wagner on the restart. Now Corley looking to split Julian Altena and Lovern. Altena gets the position, going rear contact again in the turn. Gary Lovern got tapped there by Corley. He did have quick hands, got it back under control, but had lost a lot of momentum. And it kind of split the field up a little bit too. Everyone kind of checked up. We got 2 packs now already. Back up front, Edson Santos now. Ralphie Eckert, Charles Teed, and JB.
Move right there.
You're 3 wide going into 3. Woof. Boys.
I did appreciate the Glovern nickname you had there. That was him just trying his best to avoid any sort of any mitigating damage from the cars that were a little bit loose underneath him. But
yeah, and
looks like we had Julian Altena now going for a couple spots here on the front straight.
Yep, going into 1, getting underneath. Stouffer's one of them, I believe.
Looks like Charles Teed has made his way past Santos for the lead. Actually, Yari's jumped up.
Yeah, JB now is the leader, and he led a lot. He led a lot of Kansas. He did not like to be not leading. Definitely his choice is to be P1. Here comes Teed on the low side, going in the 1. Going to get that position. Now, Yari is going to have a big run on the high side. Oh, whoa, oh. Wow.
So close.
Yes, it was. JB decides to do the crossover. Is going to get the shot going into 2. You don't really want to go side by side too much into 2, at least not in this configuration of Pocono. That the exit of 2 runs out. The wall comes up on you really quick.
Yeah, you have to realize these cars aren't the IR18, the same exact level of downforce. So these guys can actually take a very unconventional ride through turn 1 and make it on the exit like that the IR18s are not. This is a DW12 league, so the downforce is a little bit different. But looks like Yari might be holding lead here. Maybe Charles Teed's going to try to save a little bit of fuel here.
And we have AJ Hobson now.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, AJ definitely is one of those guys that is not a fuel saver, and if there's any opening, and any sort of spot he can find, he's going to get to the front. So expect him to try his best to draft and get up there.
Watching the leaders momentarily. I refresh my overlay. It is acting really, really slow.
Looks like Yari's going to hold on to the lead there from AJ, but AJ is definitely looking for it.
And we're going to have Teed to the inside.
Charles Teed, yup, he's making his way down into turn 2 there. You can just see, by the way, AJ is driving. He's finding every bit of clean air he can. He's going to go for the lead.
Yeah, he's on that Brian Clausen throwback. I ran in the Indy 500 for that one race. I forget who was driving it, though, but Good looking paint job on it. 3 wide going to the 1. Now that's going to go back to 2 wide. Taking a peek. Was thinking about Charles probably thought wisely on that. A little early to go 3 wide.
Yeah, you have another very, very eager driver in Eric Schaus, that green car that's going for P number 3 right now. He's going to try his best to get up to the front. Yeah, these cars have so much downforce that the drafting is just immediate. As soon as you get behind the car, you'll immediately feel like you're moving forward.
But the draft envelope on these, and when I say the draft envelope, that's where it extends behind the car in terms of distance and time. It's about 1.5 seconds on an IR18. It's not as far with these cars, even though they are, in theory, in reality, putting a bigger hole in the air. So there should be a bigger draft. I've been hearing that it's less than a second up to a half a second, really, before you can start feeling the benefits of a draft in these things. Is that about right?
Yes, that's correct. You can actually feel a little bit better about 1.2, 1.3 seconds back.
Okay.
But you have to be better out of the corner than the guy ahead of you in order to start feeling it too. You want to try and find the clean air and get the better exit, because if you have just a little bit of an overspeed, you can start to feel that draft again.
Okay. And here comes Hobson again to the inside of JB. He's going to get the position going into 2. Now, will he have the run coming out of 2? He goes high. He's going to cover that shot, so he's going to try to keep JB back there going into the tunnel turn. JB taking a look down to the inside through the tunnel turn. We're just going to have another swap of positions right here. AJ will follow suit. Eric Schaus now in this battle, and that Team Menards throwback. Ralphie Eckert, the interested party, just kind of hanging out here in 3rd. Charles Teed floating on back to 5th. Christopher 6th. We have Kevin McCarthy in 7th there, and that kind of looks like a player's livery. And then also back here, Brad Adams and Julian Altena. So a group of 9 are kind of among your top leaders right now. Very early on, 14 of 100. We're looking at only a 250-mile race. 1 caution already, another near caution right after that. But everyone looks like they're minding their P's and Q's for the most part. They're getting settled into this thing, but really that second group, that first group is starting to separate into 2. If that second group of the first 9, that second group right there, if they can't get organized, they're going to lose touch with them.
Yeah, I think Teed hit the bump the wrong way in turn 2. That caused a little bit of a stack up there. I think that as these things start to develop, you're going to see that it's a little bit difficult to hang on with any sort of wake that's coming in kind of these high-speed corners. So turn 2 in particular, it's going to be hard to make it through the corner without having to do some sort of lift. And if you lift at the wrong spot, it's just going to slow everyone down.
Julian's going to take the head of this pack right here. So send the number 11 blue Vor car up to P6. No tools in these cars. It's a fixed setup race. So how does that limit you or maybe actually give you an advantage, just less you have to really worry about? It's just you, your left foot, your right foot, both your hands and your eyes. That's it.
Yep, you just have to hope for the best that everyone ahead of you is not doing as well on their lines and trying to avoid the dirty air as best they can. So these guys, this second pack here from, P6 on back, they're just going to try their best to foot flat and try and catch any sort of draft they can later on, or to just run the best line they can and then catch up in the pit stop.
Looks like Julian's about 1.5 seconds, 1.8 seconds behind Stouffer in P5, so there's a little bit of a gap there that's forming. Stouffer, we were talking about this in the pre-race and I think during the introduction. Stouffer, one of the pros here. This is like his track. He is the Pocono Whisperer.
Yeah, I think he likes 3 corners more than 4 personally, if I had to make an opinion there. But that's less corners to drive, of course. But yeah, it's just a matter of finding clean air. Someone like Christopher has done this for a long time. He knows exactly what drivers around him are doing, and this is the perfect kind of track where you need the clean air in order to get the highest lap speed possible. So it's something that I think he's the best at, and his prowess shows at this kind of racetrack.
Say if they ever got around to making the Walt Disney World Speedway, he'd probably do well there. That is 3 corners.
That was a great track.
We're talking to in the Lionheart series. Of course, you know that they have Richie Hearn in that series. And we were talking about Walt Disney World Speedway, and he said that track was a scary track for the drivers. That turn three and that wall claimed a couple people.
There was a lot of scary corners in the old IRL days, for sure.
Yeah, that they knocked out Davy Jones for a good couple of years, and then I believe that's where Sam Schmidt had his very big wreck that caused his paralysis. So that, yeah, not too sad to see the Disney World Speedway go away. Would like to see it come back in iRacing, but I'm not going to hold my breath any on that. So got 2 packs of 2 and then a third car in 5th Schaus, kind of lining up here. Watching this battle here for third as Stouffer on the outside of Hobson down the front straightaway now.
Yeah, we have that pack of 5 and battling for all this positions, but we have Julian, like we were mentioning before, he's kind of in no man's land here. He's not got anyone really close to him or anyone ahead of him.
But he has reeled him in a little bit. He has. I mean, he was a 1.8 now to 1.2. I think a lot of that had to do with those guys racing.
Right. The guys up ahead are all trying to find clean air, which kind of slows them down through the corner. So, as I mentioned before, you, as the guy that's just outside the draft, you want to do anything you can to shorten the track distance and try and take a sniff at draft somewhere so you can catch up. So, I think as a tires wear, that's probably more likely where Julian can find the draft and possibly pull away from the guys behind.
21 of 100. We're 5th of the way home. What do you think first pit stops?
Oh, I just saw Kevin McCarthy was in the pits, and I believe he missed his box. So
no, he's a little sideways at the moment. Yeah, but he's up on the jacks.
Not sure if he was trying to do an early kind of undercut or something like that, because that's something you could do at this track because you can pit and get out ahead of the leader. But that's foiled. That was his goal.
Yeah, he sped going in. He's obviously in there for 30 seconds now, already in the box. Looks like Nick DeGroot has already decided to punch out for the day. Sorry to see him go, but McCarthy might be facing a penalty here on pit road.
I think we're going to see the guys pit. They're going to try their best to make it to at least 35, especially with that early caution. The guys that pit during that caution can easily make it to 35 for sure, but this front running group is going to do their best to try and do it on 2 stops from here, especially with the early caution. That gives them extra laps to play with.
Well, Stouffer has caught Eckert, and now they are doing a little game of leapfrog as they're trying to put as much distance between themselves and 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th back there, as Julian has caught the back end of this pack.
Yeah, it looks like the front 2 are actually doing a greater job of doing the leapfrog game and actually pulling away from the guys that were really close to them in the pack, and that's allowing Julian to catch up. So, looks like Stouffer and Eckert are actually somehow making this leapfrog thing work.
And now Julian to the inside of Schaus. AJ's thinking about maybe trying to get down there to block him as he gets into 3. Julian pushes up. Whoa.
Yeah, I think Julian definitely recognized that he was in dirty air right in the middle of that corner, so he knew he had to back out of that. But no harm, no foul. He's going to be right back in the draft again.
Yeah, and the benefit of the super long straights here. Turn 1 modeled after Trenton Speedway. No longer around. They wrecked, I believe they knocked it down in the early 80s. This was an interesting shaped racetrack. Think of a kidney bean. Think of 3 wide, actually, right now going into turn 2. Hang on, boys. But think of easiest way to say it is take Phoenix, and instead of dogleg left, dogleg right is kind of what Trenton was. It was a mile and a half. Long time on the USAC Champ Car schedule. They did at least two races there for the longest time. They ended up tearing that down. I believe there's a mall there or something, as is most over all these old tracks anymore. Turn 2, of course, Indianapolis. Indianapolis is not going anywhere anytime soon. And Turn 3, Milwaukee. Milwaukee's getting a bit of a reprieve this season for a doubleheader on the NTT IndyCar schedule. So everyone's been happy about that.
I would like to say Nazareth is not a mall right now. It's just kind of a weed field.
Right. And the Julian almost got a wing clip there. And the aforementioned Walt Disney World Speedway is back to being a parking lot, I believe.
Looks like Eric Peterson has made his pit stop, doing the early pit stop thing as well.
Yep, he's back underway. And again, we are thinking of he and his family at this time. Good to see him out.
I have to say that it looks like the Stouffer-Eckert tandem has broken up a little bit, and it seems that Stouffer is far enough back where Yari and Eric might be close enough for the draft again. But I think we're going to see a couple more cars pitting this time. We see Matt Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner's coming in.
Teed is now pitting as well.
Wagner finished second at the opener in Kansas, right there on the heels of Santos, who got the win. Oh, he missed his marks. He had to back up a little bit. That's going to cost him crucial time on pit road. Teed is in. That is Teed. That we see him coming in that Robbie Gordon kart throwback.
I guess these guys are running on a less fuel tank situation. Unfortunately, I didn't check to see that. On a full tank, you could definitely do 30 laps, but it seems like
maybe 85%. On the radio. Yeah, maybe 85%. Yeah.
I hear some more guys that are kind of chiming in their pit entry. Someone really lit it up, raked it up, smoked it up.
Hobson and JB are in there too. Those are the two that hit pit road. It's going to be one of those two. Hopefully, did not speed. We'll see Hobson hit his spot, hit his marks.
Yep.
JB
is in his box. Yep.
Good peel out by AJ. Got the rotation on the backside, and no speeding penalties for either one of them. But Hobson on pit road, 30.1 seconds. Brubacher, 36.8. So not an efficient time on pit road for JB at all.
Looks like we have Gary Loverns coming in. Stouffer is in his box as well.
Corley in. Both the Garys are in. We got the Gary triple play going on right now. Corley, Lovin, and me in the booth. Thanks for joining us, everybody. You are watching RaceVerse coverage of the POCONO 250 here and the DW12 series for the Dark Horse Racing League. Be sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Click the bell for weekly reminders of other RaceVerse iRacing programming, and there's a lot of it. Believe me, there's a lot of it. Since the ban has been lifted, there's been no shortage of business, which is a good thing, but it's exhausting me. It's a bad thing.
Extra time on the broadcasting thing is always a good thing.
Oh, like I said, you are the catalyst, so
that's what you tell me around these parts. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how these pit stops play out. I'm watching AJ Hobson to see how far he may have fallen back from Stouffer and Eckert.
He's behind Altina. He's been up behind Altina. Stouffer is in front of Hobson, in front of Altina.
It looks like Altina just came out of the pits, and he's going to be right in Stouffer's draft, so Hobson has lost quite a bit there. And then Eckert, of course, we're going to have to see that he's right ahead of Stouffer. So it looks like they found each other again, but this might be a 3-car breakaway.
Yeah, we got going long here right now. Taylor Reeves.
Yeah, Pocono, unfortunately, going long is not the play.
No.
Just due to the fact that you could pit and stay on the same lap.
Yeah, here he comes on the pit road, and he will give it up to. Looks like when we cycle through, it's going to be these two, Stouffer and Eckert, coming off of 2, going into 3.
Yeah, we have Altena not far behind either. I believe he's about 0.8 of a second behind Stouffer last lap, which means he still has somewhat of a draft, but it looks like it might be expanding from here.
All right, with the first pit stop done, let's reset the field a little bit. Chris Stouffer up 16 spots since the start, to no one's surprise. He is your leader. Ralphie Eckert, who's been at the front all day, he started on the front row with his teammate. He is P2, Julian Altena. He's up 15 spots. He's effectively followed Stouffer up through the field. He is P3. AJ Hobson up 5 spots to P4. He is currently riding, looking forward to the top 3 there. Biding his time. And then we have Matt Wagner, who also has worked his way up, another deep gainer from 14 spots up on the grid to P5. So these guys that really know how to run these DW12s, and that's Stouffer, Altena, and Wagner, showing it based upon their improvements since they started.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about your pit in, your pit out lap. And those guys have managed to do it better than anyone. It's not even a question. It's huge gaps between the top 3 and the rest of the field. And right now I'm trying to see who is leapfrogging with each other, and I'm seeing Charlie Teed and Yari, JB down in P6 and 7. They're the only 2 cars that are kind of around each other. So we'll have to see if these guys can make any sort of gains on the cars up ahead, because the only way you're going to be able to do it is just by drafting and leapfrogging each other to try and get to someone up ahead. Yeah,
Teed currently P6, down a couple spots from where he started. Yari Brubacher, JB, and as I mentioned, there is a leapfrog for position. So I think Stouffer and Eckert are doing that right now as we focus back up on them going through 2. They've been setting up that pass through 2 fairly often. They do have a lapped vehicle in front of them. I believe that is Lee Kane, so they're going to have a benefit of a little bit of a draft to help them in this battle. We'll watch this as they go down the front straight.
Yeah, I mean, like as a third place driver, you want to have that guy that's right in the middle too, that bridges your drafting gap. But I think Julian's just a little too far back in order to take advantage of that, because on someone that one of these bigger ovals, maybe like a Michigan or an Auto Club Speedway kind of thing, you can find some way to get that draft to suck you back up about like 0.8 of a second or so.
That's Brad Adams, not for position. Brad is back in 21st at the moment. He is hanging on to the gearbox of Hobson. Trying to get a couple little extra fuel mileage there. Hobson might want him to play leapfrog, but again, he might have a damaged car, so he might not be able to. We don't quite know, but right now Hobson is leading that duo. And then right back there, we have Wagner, who is in P5. JB and Teed, because we've been talking about them, they have been making the swapping moves, the leapfrog as we call it. Elmer Joseph, P8 in that Interstate Batteries car, the Gillette car. You see him with the orange rims. He's had himself a good race, up 12 spots to P8. Good on him. And right behind him, Dave Henger. David Henger up 14 spots to 9th. And Casey Putski running out the top 10. But everyone, you're right. We're looking at a lot of 1 second plus gaps now throughout this field. And that's what green flag pit stops do.
Yeah, and obviously we're at a point now too where the swap won't work anymore, so no one can save fuel anywhere, and it comes down to just running it out long and trying your best to do your best in and out laps.
So Schaus was among the leaders, and his stop was 17 seconds, and this is where he is now trying to recover from, P11. That's how damaging that pit stop was, and he is currently right now just riding behind Warren Rogers. A little fuel conservation right there, but it might be too far back to really save much for an advantage for precious drops of fuel at this point.
Yeah, I'm checking some lap times here. It looks like the only leapfrogging that's worth anything is Rafi and Stouffer. They're doing 41, low 41s. Everybody else in the field is doing mid to high 41s. Even Teed and Brubacher that are leapfrogging. So
Yeah.
there's something inefficient about their way of doing it, and they're not making up any ground. So should it stay like this, you can expect that the 15 and the 74 are going to be making their way ahead of the field.
For a moment there, they both have the same 5-lap speed averages, and then that last lap came by, and they shook out a little bit.
Santos is spun out in turn 3.
Oh, and he is crabbing. He is crabbing bad, and he is going to bypass pit road, and his teammate is coming. He needs to get out of the way. I want to watch the leaders pass him before we go back, and we are going caution. Okay. I didn't see
we're under caution right now. So, looks like he got complete ran over somehow.
Okay, that is looks like Gary. I think that is Lovern, or no, Corley. Yep, Corley.
Gary Corley.
And we'll watch from his in-car point of view. Coming into the turn 3. Wow. He just closed the gap really quick. Not sure what happened there. If maybe Santos was going to make... The way he slowed down, it looked like he was making a move to pit road or something. But you're right. Corley just... I don't think he meant to, but he did. He ran him over.
Yeah, I can't explain that one. If you're going to try and make a move to pit lane, you don't want to do it from the middle of the track. But there could have just been a miscommunication, maybe some sort of hardware issue as well. So
I think Corley smacked the wall there just a minute ago too, as he was coming up to the field. I think he had to make an evasive move over Reeve, who came high on him, and he smacked the wall. So Reeve was, I guess, moving up a lane, wasn't expecting a car on the high side, and yeah. So that is making a bad night already go worse for Gary, who in a period of a lap and a half or so has punted someone to, well, we're not really sure why, and then he ends up in the wall when rejoining the back of the field, which you always have to be careful of that. You always have to be careful of when you rejoin the field. You got to be under control, right?
Yes, I'm focused on these pit stops right now because I think this is going to be a split strategy.
Okay.
It's right in the middle. It's right in the middle of the pit stop rotation. You got guys that have just been hanging out in the middle of the top 10 without any sort of clue of how they're going to get up front. They're not going to pit. They're going to do everything they can to get some track position back because Pocono is all about track position. But you're going to have the guys that want to do it on fuel.
Interesting.
So I think we're having a nice mix of strategy here.
Definitely the split strategies going on. Stouffer gets out in front of everyone. Eckert, Altena had a good stop. He got out in front of just about everyone as well. Hobson recovered quite a bit of space. Wagner rejoining in 6th, Teed 7th, JB in 8th. They'll resume that battle when we go back to green. Elmer Joseph 9th, and Henger up to 10th. Schaus now 11th. Joseph Morales, though, stays out. Track position.
Yeah, Pocono is all about that track position because you have way too much aero wash if you're at the bottom part of the top 10 and you're trying to make up some moves. This is actually the perfect lap, I feel, to get yourself up there and hope for another caution where everybody else will come in with you and you can get all that track position you never had. So I think this is really smart on Joseph Morales' part. These guys that all pitted and are now sitting a few cars behind are now going to have to actually work to get by these cars because they have less fuel than them, and they'll just have a lot of aero wash to provide to the guys behind them.
And then we have a car in between Morales and the pace car. He will get the wave around. That is Brad Adams. He will get the wave around, and that will put him back on the lead lap. So strategically, Brad does a good job at staying out. And he pitted only 9 laps ago, so he'll be hoping for another caution so then he can pit and be on the same rotation as everyone else there. He's getting the wave around. That is an IndyCar rule. The pace car always picks up the leader and allows the leader to bring the field back up to speed out of caution. Only any of the cars between the leader and the pace car will get the wave around. But as a IndyCar specific rule.
looks like we still have Warren Rogers and Edson Santos a lap down. Still, Brad Adams gets the wave around, or did they all get the wave around?
No, just Adams getting the wave around.
Okay, so Edson and Warren will be a lap down still. Lee Kane is 2 laps down. Eric Peterson 3 laps down. So not a great night for Peterson. I guess he might have had an issue in the pits. I mentioned that because Peterson is kind of sitting in that mix there.
Yeah, I'm showing his last pit stop was 8.4 seconds, but he had there may have been another moment where he had to leave the cockpit, so to speak, at home. So again, we are thinking of him and what's going on with his family, as he is now currently in 21st, kind of in the middle of this lead pack, getting ready to go green. Joseph Morales in the Nesquik car, bringing the field back to green here. Everyone up, assuming the position on the wall. That is standard operating procedure on IndyCar restarts.
Yeah, Pocono is a tough one for trying to find when everyone's going. So this track leads to stack ups, unfortunately, and hopefully everyone can get through it.
So he can't. Well, he's going early, and I don't know if he passed the base car.
We do have a stack up back.
Warren Rogers.
Sorry for the commentator's curse there, everybody. Wasn't going for that. But yeah, this is definitely one of those tracks where it's difficult. So looks like everyone got through, no wrecks. So we'll keep going.
Morales has a lead coming out of 2, but he's not going to have the lead going, out of 1, not have the lead going into 2, as Stouffer sails right on by. Julian's going to take a peek to the inside here on Rafi. Oh, so close. Morales wanted to go down to the rumble strips of the white line. Julian was already sending it there. Julian slides it in. He just, there was an opening there. He heard clear, sent it, and he slammed the door on Rafi. Moved Julian up to P2 in the Vor car.
We got the same issue with Teed and Wagner back for P6. They passed each other now 3 times in the last lap. So I think Teed's going for another one right now, going into turn 2. If anything is like the last lap, he'll be going for a dive.
Just a couple laps away, 6 laps from the halfway point. Hobson, Teed, Wagner, JB all in diamond formation, flying through turn 3. And Elmer Joseph there, very interested party looking on. JB to the inside. Nope, he decides to tuck in now. Teed pops out. He's going to take a look in the 1.
I'm trying to figure out why Hobson is so slow. I went back and he did not hit a wall or anything, but he is not very fast right now. And in fact, just kind of holding everyone up.
Yeah,
Oh, he's making a move now.
There he is, yeah. Maybe it takes him a little bit longer to get wound up or something. Sometimes when you bring your car up through the gears, you can get on that rev limiter really quick and sometimes hit the gear shift button and it doesn't do what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, he was with. You can't even say it's a fuel map thing because you can't change the fuel map in this car. So he was with everyone on the first lap and he just kind of dropped back a little bit. So maybe it was a fuel saving situation or just a mistake in gears, like you said. This group is getting very spicy now as JB makes his way up into the back of Charles Teed there. Wagner's getting involved and he's getting mixed up with Joseph Morales, who is now dropped from the lead back to 4th, but he's hanging in there.
Julian Altena now to the top. He takes the lead going out of 2, going into 3. He will get to probably lead this lap, but Stouffer will take the lead going into 1. Now, how difficult? We've seen where the 2-car swap is. It's pretty easy and it's beneficial, especially if you know what you're doing and you're working with. So, how difficult is it being that 3rd car?
Honestly, being the 3rd car is the best spot. Because that's where you get to save all the fuel. You get to suck up all the draft and pick your spot into the corner because it's very predictable where the 2 cars are going to swap off each other. So you just find the clean air and you hit the throttle at the right time. You get all the draft, you get all the fuel save. Being the 3rd car is the best spot.
I think back to Alexa Newsom in one of the Indy 500s where she was the 3rd car And the first two did this very similar, swapping the lead back and forth. I think it might have been private label Team Hype cars. And she just sat back there and sat back there and sat back there and sat back there enough that she eliminated an entire pit stop to an Indy 500 run. And that's eventually what got her the win. So Rafi, I guess now sitting in the catbird seat as one who can really benefit mileage-wise from these two racing right in front of him.
It takes so much discipline to put yourself in that spot because you're like, I want to race for the lead. I want to be up there. But if you're disciplined enough, you just save so much fuel doing it if you do it the right way. It's not just given that you sit in third place and you can save the fuel. You have to do it a certain way and do it the right way. So we'll have to see if he pulls this off and saves the fuel that he wants to save.
And here's a spicy group. Wagner and Teed side by side going into two. JB doing a little multitasking. Left a message in chat. Can't believe I messed up on pit road again.
Yep, we've all been there.
Trust me. Yeah. Well, this pit road specifically, now, he's probably talking about getting to his marks, I'm thinking. This pit road is specifically, when you come off of 3, you got to start slowing down for pit road midway through 3 so you can cut your car down to the inside, and you need to have it down to the 45 miles per hour right when the concrete starts for pit road. It's not like Indianapolis where you can go a half a football field down pit road before you get to the cones. The cones are right there at Pocono.
Well, going back to my pre-race, the legacy Pocono and the new Pocono are two different spots, which is you have to remember exactly which Pocono you're racing at. Because the legacy Pocono is right at the pit wall, and the new Pocono is a little bit down. So you got two different braking points for two different tracks. But yeah, I mean, in both situations, you can't push it. You want to push it as best you can because you're going 220 miles per hour around this track, and you have to get down to 60. But yeah, you just have to realize you're coming around the corner and start putting yourself in the mindset to slow down.
Do you play with the brake bias at all? I think is that one of the things that you can play with in these?
Yeah, but it could easily lock up on you no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So it definitely takes practice. You have to, in the practice session before the race, you have to play around with it.
Here's a shot from the RaceVerse 1 airship high above the facility, watching this battle between Wagner, T, JB, Hobson, and Joseph down the front straightaway.
Yeah, they seem to have lost touch with that lead pack, about 2+ seconds behind them now, and unfortunately, when you're in a situation like this, you have to pick 2 of the drivers to leapfrog. You can't get all 4 people involved, or else you're going to run into problems.
Yeah, but who sits there and tells the third driver who's the third driver? you know?
But exactly what you just said is what put them in this spot. All of them think they could be the first 2 drivers. And you have drivers like you just saw JB right there in turn 3, just completely missed the corner, and that just loses it for everyone else as well.
Sometimes
he gets tight in turn 1 there as well. So, yeah, it can't be him. It has to be 2 other drivers that can do it. And I think Wagner and Teed are good enough. But we got a caution right now. Gary Lovern is.
Yeah, Gary Lovern is on his in the wall, and we have Brad Adams on his lid. So let's as the pace car comes out, let's go back into the Wayback Machine and see exactly what happened. And I think it happened in front of Adams. So let's go up to Lovern here, and let's actually go back to the blimp view and get a bigger view. So we're in turn 1. Let's see what happens. Oh, contact.
Oh, we have a situation there for sure.
So that was not William Swinson.
It was
Ryan Bowles. Yeah, Ryan Bowles in the Weather Channel car. I don't think he necessarily. I don't think he was at fault necessarily, but I think that's where the contact was. Let's see. Let's go back and watch here. And let's go back to the Lovern perspective and check his in-car.
Just a little bit tight, it looks like.
Yeah, and he rolled out of it knowing that he was going to be tight, and then there was just not enough time
too many cars around.
Yep.
A little too many cars around, enough for them all to react in the same way. And Brad was just coming full steam ahead, and nothing there.
Back to live TV. So during that, move Stouffer to the lead. Eckert P2, Altena P3. Wagner now with the caution closing the gap up to P4, Teed 5, Hobson 6. I would imagine everybody, even after 13 laps of racing, is probably coming to pit road. Not everybody, but I would think the plan would be to come to pit road. Certainly the plan for Morales. He's the one that needs it the most. No, Wagner with the pump fake.
46 laps left in the race. Easy, one more stop to go. It's best to pit now. Everyone else is going to be doing a fuel save.
And staying out with him is Santos. Now, Santos getting the wave around already.
Now, you have to keep in mind that what we were saying before is now you have the decision of track position versus being on the right fuel strategy. So I would, if it were me, I personally want to be on the fuel strategy side. Yeah. Because everybody else that's staying out right now is definitely not going to make it on one more stop. They're going to have to stop twice.
Well, let's talk about tires too. Track temp 81, ambient temperature 66, light wind. So temperature in the air is not obnoxious. The track temperature in relation is fairly cool. How are new tires, going to benefit on this run against these two that are on tires that are 13, 14 laps old?
Unfortunately, Pocono is one of those tracks where the new tires don't make so much of a difference because you're just flat-footed everywhere around this track. So it's really tough to get a run anywhere on new tires. You can get the run, but you can't run away. So anybody that's up ahead has already got the momentum going, and they have less fuel than you since you just pitted. So it's kind of a cataclysmic kind of situation where like Pocono is just such a bizarre track because of the three corners, the full speed, and everything like that. Track position just means everything because you can easily give some aero wash to the cars behind, especially if you have less fuel than them, despite your tires maybe being a little less fresh in them.
Gotcha. Other drivers now, they're good to go, so there's no reason for the pump fake. Although Julian is going really low. Maybe he has just enough fuel to get him home. He is going really low on the front stretch.
Yeah, so that's a strategy right there for sure.
Yeah, that's the IQ strategy of going shortest distance around the place to save on drops. I've seen it happen before.
Taylor Reed's is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pick your poison situation at Pocono because if you're sitting 10th, 11th, 12th, how are you going to get to the front other than staying out and just hoping for a strategy change with the caution? So
gotcha.
I don't fault these guys for doing it because they want to put themselves in a spot, but they're going to have to stop before everyone else. And, they'll get their time out front, which is nice, but it has to fall a certain way for them to get it going. But also keep in mind, from what I said earlier, that you could pit at Pocono and come out on the lead lap still.
Yeah, that is
so
nice.
It could swing back your other way. Like you might be all the way like 30, 35 seconds behind the leaders. You get a caution. Everybody does their last pit stop, then you're right back up at the front again, and you have a shot. So Pocono is just such a weird track to pick a strategy on because it can go so many different ways.
Going over the tunnel turn, Wagner is the leader now. Opted to stay out, has 15 lap old tires. Behind him is Peterson, who is probably going to try to stay out and get the wave around. He also has 15 lap tires, but because he was behind Wagner stayed out. He can't advance under caution past the leader, so he's stuck there in second with Chris Stouffer, who is now P2, directly behind him. So you see Peterson dipping to the inside, so I think that he's kind of tipping his hat to Stouffer that he's willing to let him by on this restart. So pace car in, coming up to speed, field under the control of Matt Wagner. Going to go green at lap 57, and we're back underway, and that's exactly what Peterson is doing at the moment.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but Stouffer and Eckert have been the best at the swap draft this whole time, so I don't see how that'll change at all. Look at Rehooked back up, and Matt Wagner's going to fall back right away unless he can find a way to stay in their draft, because those guys have been the most efficient so far at the swap draft than anybody else in the field.
And a reminder on Rafi Eckert day so far. He won at the VOR DW12 series finale, season 1 finale, at Indianapolis earlier today, and it was an 80-lap pack race for the most part. Julian to the inside, so he has one victory already today.
Wow. Eric Schaut just made passed 3 people in turn 3. That was quite a move. He just did an elevator move out of turn 2.
Let's go check it out. We'll go to his in-car camera here. And there's Peterson, really. He cuts the inside of Peterson and it gets the run from Teed on the outside, and A.J. Hobson. And wow, power move.
Elevator move from Schaus.
Fresh tires, though, I think.
That's definitely a fresh tires move. So, discounting everything I said before, you get the fresh tires, you could do stuff like that. Take the shortest line right around the track and get the spots you need.
Oh, car in the wall in the back there. That was Ryan Bowles, I think.
Ryan Bowles, yeah.
But he's recovered. People making very abrupt moves in some points in the race, but I guess when you hear clear in your headset, you go. Schaus, Teed, Henger fighting 3 wide going into 2. Now 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. It's like the start of the race right there, boys.
Yeah, you got desperation happening in the mid-pack right now because they've lost the pack up front, and it's now a sprint to the finish, trying to get the best spot you can.
Well, coming to 40 to go.
It looks like Altana's got its way to the front now. Eckert and Stouffer have the opportunity to save a little bit of fuel here to make the last stop a little less, because they both Altana or Wagner just stayed out, right? So he's the one with the less fuel right now.
3 wide into 2. Oh, good job, guys. Woof. Stouffer wants the lead. He went ahead and took it. Julian's not going to send it to the inside of 3. Wagner's going to try to send it up the middle. Stouffer up high. Wagner floats up top. Julian now starting the dragon.
Yeah, looks like Altana and Stouffer definitely have.
Here, car to the inside. There it is. You see it. That's Stouffer. We're over the shoulder of Julian right there on the in car. Now back to a live shot.
Yeah, looks like Eckert wants to save the fuel now. Have a shorter, less last stop there. Yeah, these mid-pack guys are riding the curb in turn 2 and everything. Taylor Reeves just rode that curb big time. Again, they have to sort this out. They have to find 2 guys that can leapfrog and then bring the other 3 or 4 guys with them.
Yeah, it's so hard to. Where do I want to look when you got all that? You have the leaders fighting for the lead, and you want to give put the camera there and catch that action. But I mean, you have these guys just slicing, literally slicing. I mean, I think they're slicing first and looking second.
Yeah, you have one guy that messes up kind of in the middle of that pack there, and it's so hard to keep the draft going because you want to keep the momentum
inside.
Going. But Taylor Reeves is going inside.
Oh, there's contact. And that is Henger going to the inside wall. And he's done. He toes, and we are still green. So that was kind of part of what I was saying. There's a lot of abrupt movements going out there, and I don't know if that's people just hearing clear and immediately going, or these bumps, or everyone's force feedback is causing their wheels to jump. There could be anything, really.
There's bumps there for sure, and I think Henger, he should have kept the car a little more outside, but I think he started to drift a tiny bit down on the inside where Reeves was, and unfortunate for him that he got in that situation.
Or even that 92 Guerrero throwback, even has Buick on the intake. I love it.
Yeah, these guys at the bottom part of the top 10, they're just trying to find any bit of clean air they can because they had not been able to sort it out from whatever they've been working with.
So it looks like Hobson and, just more slice and dice to the inside. Barrett Corley just yanks it down there. JB and Reeves side by side through one. This is just some cutthroat racing back here, boys. Teed, Schaus, and Hobson are starting to pull away. They're just racing too hard back here for this second group to keep up with that lead 3 in front of them.
So looks like the top 4 have broken away now from Charles Teed in P6. Looks like he picked up P5 there.
But Wagner's joined the top 3, though.
Yeah, Wagner's doing a good job on those old tires, trying his best to keep up with whatever he can. I think Stouffer and Altena are trying their best to leapfrog and get away as best they can, especially because Wagner's on the old tires. He's doing a really good job to hang with these guys, but he has less fuel. He should have a little bit more speed than these guys.
When should we be seeing Wagner then making that move down pit road if we don't get a caution that's going to really help his strategy?
Yeah, I would imagine in the next, 7 to 10 laps or so.
Okay. Well, that will get us into 75 laps to go or so in that territory, 25 to go. So it's going to be a short fill for him. That's the good news. The bad news is he's given up a bunch of track position.
Yeah, his best spot is now to try and save the fuel he can to try and go full burn to the end.
The top 4 are pretty much lined up now. That group back in 6 is still slugging it out. Schaus has kind of caught up to this Hobson, Teed, and Schaus. They're all 3 together. They've been there together, actually. I'm sorry about that. They've been a group of 3 pretty much for the last 5 laps anyways. It's the group being led by Taylor Reeves is the one that's finally now getting organized.
Yeah, they've dropped back so far that it's going to be tough to get any sort of draft, so they have to organize themselves in such a way they can start to leapfrog to get back up to that next pack.
They are staying organized. I will give them credit. It looks like JB. Well, I was just getting ready to say JB badly wanted to pull out and then go low, but he was staying in the line. I was like, I was giving him credit there, and then all of a sudden he pulls out and goes off. So
yeah, he wants to be the doing his best to try and leapfrog to get up to that second pack.
So we got Santos.
We got four up front, then a group of 3, and then a group of 4 as well.
So Edson Santos there in that other leaner energy car. They were the champions, the team champions of the VOR DW12 series earlier today. Big day for them. They secured the team championship. Edson Santos won the series championship and won Indianapolis. So talking about a Triple Crown Day car bump in the wall. I think that might have been Ryan Bowles again. That's okay. Everybody's still underway.
Yeah, these guys up front are running low 41s again, so they're the most efficient up front and deserve to be. If I was Matt Wagner, I'd be hanging out here at the back of these guys, taking any draft I can and just saving as much fuel, and hopefully he can push it to 76, 77 or so. But once he pits, he's not going to go a lap down. So if the caution comes out right as he's on pit out, he's sitting pretty. He'll go right back to the front again because all the guys got to pit for the end. But if he has to pit anytime between now and lap 75, it'll be a tough one for him.
Saw Julian take a bit of a more defensive line between in the short shoot between 2 and 3 last time and helped him kind of. Big wreck in the back. Big wreck in the back. Big wreck in the back. Taylor Reeves, I believe we saw him flipping. There he goes.
Yeah, Brad Adams is on a lid again.
I bet he's tired of seeing that view. We are under caution, and that is exactly what Matt Wagner needed.
Yeah, I have to disagree. I don't think he has enough laps left to do a full tank. So I think he needed to make it to 75, 76. He's going to pit right now, and he'll be up front for sure. But it's going to be a tough one to to get there.
Let's watch this. I think Taylor Reeves just ran out of space, caught the bad air from JB right in front of him, and yep, right into the wall. And not sure, there was another car that followed him through that also ended up on their lid. Putski, yeah,
Putski hit the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Putski kind of followed him up. Elmer, Elmer Joseph, he had a good race. Fortunately, he's a victim of that one as well. So another 4 cars involved here. And we are going to, with the caution now, that Julian was out of the lead. So Altina now is your leader. And everyone's going to be coming down pit road surely.
Right. So I'll go back on what I said, that everyone's going to pit now. So Matt Wagner might be in a spot where he's on the same strategy as the leaders. So he may not be able to make it to the end himself, but it's going to be the same for everyone if they all pit together.
So we'll wait for the pit stops to occur here, and then we'll reset the field. If you are just joining us, this is lap 71, coming to 72 of 100 under caution of the Pocono 250 and the Dark Horse DW12 series. Julian Altina is your leader. This is round 2. We're at the start of the championship, the RaceVerse coverage. Give us a thumbs up if you like the coverage. Make sure to add any comments in the chat about your favorite drivers, or if you think someone's at blame, go ahead. Let's hear it. Give us your thoughts. Wagner misses his spot. And if you're not already, feel free to subscribe to the program. Click the bell. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on weekly reminders, almost daily reminders now, of other RaceVerse IndyCar programming. And Julian comes back out, and both the learner energy cars are together. So a big jump by Edson Santos.
Yeah, great pit stop from him for sure.
He was in the box only 6.3 seconds. So what's that say? He was on pit road 28.0, but in the box only 6.3. Short fill?
Yeah. It might have been a short fill or no tires. And that's definitely a strategy to go for, especially because tires aren't super important here, but we'll have to see if he can hang in the drafts on that stop.
Let's actually ride with him as he comes into his pit stop and see what happens. Going through a number of pit road spots. I don't know if that's allowed the rules here. No tires. He's not going up on jacks, getting fuel only. And away and done. And he joins his teammate, the car right in front of him, the 74. So Edson Santos, last week's winner. Been a good 7-day period for these Learner Energy team cars.
Yeah, it's quite possible that he just realized that tires may not be as much of a
Julian clutching and coasting right now. They're riding down the ramp, clutching and coasting. Yep. Yeah,
I think that it's still a little too far for these guys to make it. They were only doing 25 or 26 laps, even with the first caution. So I think they're on a smaller fuel tank, and it's going to be difficult for them to make it to the end. So I think everybody's got to stop one more time, even for a splash and dash.
Eric Peterson getting the wave around, which he was trying to get last time. He did. He's 4 laps on his stint, so he did a pit at some point, but he's going to get at least a lap back here. So that means we have 1 to go as he gets the wave around. Field will come under the command of Julian Altina, our leader. Let's reset the field here. It's Altina, your leader. This is with lap 73 of 100, so we're going to go green at 74, so 26 to go here roughly. Refi Eckert. We've already talked about his day, P2. Christopher. The Pocono Whisperer, he is P3. Edson Santos, we saw what he did in his pit stop to make up some spots. Basically just a splash for him. AJ Hobson, now his goal this time on this restart is to stick with this group. That's the last couple restarts he's not been able to stick with the group. Charles Teed, same thing. He's in P6. Eric Schaus, been up in the top 10 all day long for the most part. He is in 7th. Did fall out of it for a little bit after a bad pit stop. Ryan Bowles, who's done a job at trying to knock down the turn 3 wall every now and then in the Weather Channel car. He has now moved his way up to 8th. Wagner, I think because he had more to fill in his car, back to 9th. He was in the box for 8.8 seconds. And Yari, among the leaders early on, but since we've started the second half of this race, has been in that mid-pack and has been struggling to get out of it. P10 getting ready to go green, field under the command of Julian now. We're starting to get a little bit of a courting effect. Wagner had to lock him up. We're green.
Ooh, yes, we have people on the outside that are trying to make the move. It looks like Matt Wagner is trying to find a place to go, and I think he's going to take the outside into one.
Yep, he is. We'll try to follow Bowles. Oh, kiss the wall. Wagner cuts across.
Oh, wow. That was very close.
And he's going to go inside. He's going to pick off JB. Bowles could have come down. Bowles stayed up wisely. Probably saw him in the mirror. Didn't want to turn that down. Schaus yanking it down to the bottom there, trying to get underneath Teed.
Yeah, Schaus with that elevator move yet again. I think Wagner is in the best spot to take the draft here, and he may actually get the run down the straightaway. He's passing 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. We have a wreck on the front row.
Contact. And I don't know what happened, who started where, but we have a bunch of cars into it. And now, this might be what Wagner needed if he wasn't involved in this, and I'm not sure if he was or not.
No, he was not.
He was not.
He's missed out all the contacts.
You were saying it was going to be tight for him to get to the finish? This should get him to the finish.
Yeah, it was tight. It was tight for everyone really to get to the finish. Unfortunately, I think all the drivers that just pitted there were very, very tight on fuel. It looks like there was a bit of an internet glitch there. It seemed down the straightaway.
I don't know. I see Teed. Let's watch Teed from the blimp view in the RaceVerse 1 airship. Everyone say hi to TC up in the blimp. Teed comes in and gets into.
I think that's Edson.
And then also involved is Hobson.
Into him twice, actually. It looks like Teed hits him initially into the wall.
And Yari goes into the wall. Bowles into the wall.
Yari goes into the wall. Yep.
Elmer. Yeah. Elmer again in it as an innocent bystander. He's got to be thinking, "Come on, man."
Yeah, I think that, all right, so from what I could tell, it looks like when T gets into Edson, he bounces off the wall into Yari, and the Yari hits the wall. Matt just was in the right lane at the right time. He just drove right around down the straightaway. I was mentioning he passed 1, 2, 3, 4 cars down the straightaway there, and unfortunately it looks like Edson bounced off the wall and kind of clipped the wing of Yari, the rear wing of Yari there. That spun him into the wall, but that just hurt everybody that was driving down the straightaway normally, and they got into him there.
The big one here on lap 76, 75, 76, and the closing stages here. I don't think anyone's going down pit road other than unless those that are really at the back of the pack want to get a new set of tires, or if they have some sort of damage that needs to be addressed either by getting fixed or the fast repair if that has not been used already. Altina is your leader. Eric Schaus got to second place. Wagner is in P3. Eckert was going to have the benefit of his, and we're going to wave around for somebody there. He was going to have, Rafi Eckert was going to have a benefit of his teammate up there, and that is no longer going to help him. So he's minus a wingman. Chris Stouffer, P5. Gary Lovern has very quietly negotiated his way up to P6, and it's been a long day for him. He's had some contact with some folks. Charles Teed has got fixed, and he is 7th. Yari is JB there. He is 8th. Corley, 9th. And Swinson is 10th. So we have currently, I believe, 14 cars still on the lead lap. Putski is the first car off a lap down, and we'll got him somewhere on the I think he's minus the front wings of his car at the moment. They'll have to get that addressed.
I'll mention, like, Wagner restarted 9th, 10th, something like that. So, like I said, he was the benefactor of avoiding everything with that incident with Schaus. So Schaus dove into turn 3. Wagner just stayed on that line with him, and on the exit, Wagner managed to somehow avoid everyone that was on the outside line. Yeah, that's probably the luckiest thing that Wagner's done in this race so far, just staying on the inside line, and all the mayhem happened directly behind him.
Currently watching Casey Putski in his car trying out for the hydraulic competition as it's bouncing all the way down the short chute through 3. Kind of expected to see that you kind of see a car action like that in Grand Theft Auto, not here on iRacing, but he's down pit road to get that looked at. He was trying to avoid the tow, and we understand why. So we'll see if he hits his spot here and snaps magically back into place. I think he might have already used the fast repair once, so this is going to be a slow one for him. Yeah. So, lights out on the pace car. We're going green at lap 79. We're currently serving 78 at the moment. It's Edson Santos, Rafi Eckert riding through the grass on the very bottom of turn 1. So maybe he thinks he's close to getting fuels mileage on this. I don't know. If I know I'm close, if I know I'm close, and I know about you, but if I know I'm close, I'm going to be riding down to that white line to make it the shortest line possible around this racetrack if I know I'm going to be close. I don't know if that's what he's doing.
That looked a little different. Like he almost was trying to fight Wagner for, hey, this is my spot, not yours. But I don't know. That was kind of a weird one for me, or he was not paying attention or something like that. But we're going to be coming right back to green here, and it's going to get more intense as these restarts continue.
So this should be, if nothing else goes wrong, it should be, famous last words, right? Should be, if nothing else goes wrong, this should be a sprint to the finish. Coming to 79, so we'll have 21 laps to go here at Pocono.
I still don't think that there's enough fuel in the tank for these guys to do it all, but we'll see. Okay,
well, I'll tell you what, the one we want to watch then, if that's the case, is Yari. If we go green from here on out and no one is saved or is saved enough, Yari is only 2 laps, so his tank is a little bit more full than everyone in front of him. So if we go green and those cars have to stop in front of him, he should not have to stop. Does the math work for you or no?
Yes, I agree with that. Anyone who just did a quick fill there should be good to go, 100%. But yeah, one more caution, and I think everybody's fine. So,
3 wide.
At the back of the field here, we had some movement. We had AJ Hobson is trying his best to make up some ground here, but Gary Lovern's making a move here on Schaus. Yes. We're starting to break up already. Yari is trying to leapfrog with Gary Lovern. And I think he might actually get up to maybe get a sniff at the draft of that top 5.
He needs to get past Lovern right here. And he does. So now it's critical for him to run down that lead group. And if he's good to go to the end, race those guys hard and make them use that fuel.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think he actually might be right in the draft of Rafi, who dropped back a tiny bit. But I think that might have to do with fuel saving as well. So Rafi might be trying to save those teaspoons of fuel every lap he can, try and make sure he's good.
Lovern gets the position going into 1 over Yari. Julian back to the lead over Wagner in turn 2. That whole group kind of sitting, kind of look like fighter jets flying in formation. Brubacher, I'm riding along with Brubacher, and he let up on McLovern. Gary Lovern. That should be his nickname, McLovern. He lit up going to the 3, so maybe he's very close. Now he's going to make
figure out the strategy here. Yeah, like you got to leapfrog, or you're going to lose him. Like no matter how it goes, you have to do something.
Car on the wall. That is Julian.
Oh, that's Julian. Yep.
And not sure what happened. We are still green. And Julian does not want to see still green. Let's
He's crabbing from now.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. He tried to cut across aggressively, Schaus, and clipped him. And he's done. Maybe he just should have waited.
He should have waited. He was in the optimal line, too.
And now he's wrecking again. And we're going to get, well, we might get caution. Let's see if he can punch out. Yeah, he punches out. So we are still under green. One less player at the front. Very familiar scene from last week. We have a Lerner Energy car and Matt Wagner fighting it out for the lead.
Yeah, I have to feel for Altona there, just for the simple fact that like he thought he had enough room to do an elevator move, which was Schaus' specialty. And if Schaus is the one to notice that he's not clear, that's unfortunate for him. But yeah, Wagner is looking like the strongest car in this top group right now. He knows exactly where to make the move to get to start finish first. So I'll be looking out for him for sure. We just have to see if everybody has enough fuel. I have a feeling that people are going to have to splash and dash here if we stay green.
Well, don't go anywhere, folks. This race is long from decided. We could be looking at a fuel economy run to win this race, or everybody getting a splash. We suspect that Jari Brubacher here, JB, and P6 in this group might be good to go to the finish. Also involved in that group, Teed also might be good to go to the finish. Corley might be good to go to the finish. Hobson might be good to go to the finish. The top 5, which are Stouffer, Wagner, Eckert, Schaus, and Lovern, they are 13 laps into their stint. They probably cannot.
I think it's going to be close. We'll have to see what happens. But we're in this situation again where the second pack can't figure out who wants to lead, and that's causing all sorts of confusion, and they're losing precious time to those guys up ahead. AJ just tagged the wall there in turn 3. Rafi tried to shove it right down the middle, but there was no room there. I don't know. That kind of attitude makes it seem like these guys may be good to go if they're really pushing it like that, not trying to save the fuel. But I still feel like Matt Wagner is the strongest one in this top group here.
Yeah, I agree with you. He tends to be able to. He gets past. Oh wow, Rafi washes up the racetrack in 3. Had to roll out of it. Yeah, Wagner seems to be able to recover quickly after being passed, and gets that pass back.
Yeah, and I imagine Christopher is also the second best, just because he's not on the right side of the track right now to be the one to make it to start finish. But I think that could easily change if he decides to switch the drafting tendencies between the two cars there.
Wagner with the purple lap. Not sure exactly when it was set, but he did a 41 flat. And there you see a Wagner 41 flat as a 2:19.773. We'll take a look at last time by speed. Eckert 2:19, fastest car in the top 4.
Yeah, I mean Rafi's got a wall full of draft right there, so it's very easy for him to get up there and just kind of lift, save the extra teaspoons of fuel you need.
You heard Eckert lift there.
Yeah, I think he just ran out of room, particularly. And looking back at the second group here, they're falling farther and farther back, but it looks like they're more organized now. It looks like Teed is the leader of that group, with Gary Lovern still kind of hanging around, but still not quite getting the swap draft situation that he has to put himself in.
Leandro Silva, the man will win again. Go Eckert. Julian, I feel so stupid for taking that hard left turn. At least we all recognize when you make a mistake, yeah.
I think Rafi's going to try a 3-wide move here. Wagner got kind of punched out the back of that.
He did.
Well, Wagner's got, I think he's got what it takes to take the inside line here and take the spot back.
Oh,
no,
he's
not
going to
quite.
slide up.
Oh,
and he did make contact with Stouffer,
yes.
Stouffer, good job. Good car contact. But the funny thing is Stouffer doesn't look like he lost any momentum. Wagner lost minimal momentum. He lost a little bit. He fell back just a tick from this group. Wagner
was very lucky.
Yeah.
The iRacing gods were looking the right way upon him right there.
You can see the last lap speeds right there. Stouffer and Eckert 217, 218, and Wagner 215. Yeah, just because of lifting there.
That could have easily gone wrong for both those guys if
10
they
to go.
pitched the wrong way. But I think Wagner is, like I said, he's the indestructible car right now. He's just kind of playing around. You can see the lines that he's driving right now. He's trying to find what the clean air is, what the dirty air is. I'm pegging
sliding
Wagner
into the inside. Not sure who that. Gary Corley. So it looks like Corley might have tapped the turn 3 exit here.
Oh, I called it, didn't I?
Yes, you did. You did.
Just turn 4 around these spots.
There it is. He got too high and gets up in the wall and bounces off of AJ. How AJ didn't get taken out in that one. Oof.
Yeah, that was close. In fact, I went right to AJ, and he almost got himself into another incident with David Henger, but they all make their way through. Oh, Rafi and Chris Stouffer very close through turn 3 there.
Schaus now very much part of the picture.
Yeah, Schaus says it's time to go.
And there's contact. That was netcode contact. That was netcode contact. It was pretty clear. We are under caution, and we're going to go back and look at it. This was pretty clear netcode contact, obvious netcode contact.
100% agree. Yes, it was a fast moving Eric Schaus coming from P4 there, and unfortunately the
predictive code said, "Oh well, we're going to have a wreck here." And there was a half a car width there. There was a half a car width. That was bad. That was bad.
We both saw that at the same time too, and it was very unfortunate there for poor Christopher.
Look at that right there. I don't know if we get a better shot of it at all, but maybe
I don't think I'm going to say Schaus did nothing wrong there. He tried to find the exact line he could have gotten through. Stouffer's still rolling though, and he's trying his best to get back to pit lane minus all the ping-ponging off the wall and everything.
He might be able to execute a fast repair here. Yeah,
if he has any fast repairs left, don't count him out.
Okay, a very bad netcode incident. I'm with you. I don't think Schaus did anything bad there. I don't think Stouffer did anything bad. Stouffer's just an innocent victim. For that matter, Schaus, no one likes to put anybody into the wall, so I'm sure he feels bad. So we're going to reset now with 8 to go. We're coming to 7 to go. We'll probably go green with 6 to go, I'm willing to imagine. Schaus is your leader. Wagner is second, a very familiar position for a week ago at Kansas. Eckert, he's still in contention, P3. Teed now up to 4th. Brubacher, I said that he'd be the one that probably could go, he and Teed, because they stopped later. But I think Schaus and all these guys are going to stay out. That's probably indication that they are good to go now.
Yeah, I think we needed one more caution to ensure that these guys were good to go. So I think we're good.
So let's go back to Teed then, because his tires are 3 laps better, and Jari Brubacher is 5 laps better than the guys in front of him. Is that any advantage at this point?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how they start. If these guys get a poor start, it'll be all about trying their best to get draft and figuring the clean air out. It's possible, but not likely.
All right. So Brubacher is 4th. Lovern is 5th. Hobson, who has been a bit of a white ping pong ball in the second half of the race. He's been bounced off of things himself. Just trying to drive hard and get this car back up to the front, is 6th. He can now see the front. So this restart here is going to be very, very critical. William Swinson, he is now 7th in that black, and looks like we got a bit of a gray stripe and red striped car. Ralphie Eckert is back in 8th.
Swenson's been a pretty quiet. I don't think we talked to him all day. So
not much
in the top 10 is pretty good going for him.
So Eckert is in 8th, and Eckert did stop. So he has new tires and whatever fuel he needs to get to the finish. So he apparently could not have made it. He had to stop. Henger, who's been through a couple of adventures today, he is currently on the lead lap in 9th. Joseph Morales, he led some caution laps, brought us to a restart, had some track position, and pretty much since then has been near the top 10. He is in 10th. Stouffer got repaired, back underway, but I think he's going to run out of time. He's the first car on the lead lap. Eric Peterson is the first car not on the lead lap. He is now currently shown 2 laps down as he's getting the wave around. And the lights are out. So we are going to go, and there's Peterson coming around turn 3 in the background there. So we are going to go green here with, I believe, 5 to go.
Yep, that's 5 to go at the green flag.
So just a little bit longer than an Indianapolis qualification run. 12.5 miles to decide a winner here at Pocono. Here's some cars. Yeah, Wagner. Wagner is burning some fuel. There we go, riding Wagner. That's what you hear him. You hear him up against the rev limiter, trying to burn some precious ounces of fuel off the car to make him a little bit lighter. So that tells us he has too much. Now, doing that, especially in these cars now, if you do that too much in the IR18, you can hurt the engine. Is that the same thing here with these particular cars as well, with the way that the code's written about them?
No, it's not the same thing.
No.
These cars can take all the fuel burn they need, but personally for me, I find it to be more of a boredom thing than a actually effective kind of thing, because the draft just negates anything. If you're in the draft, you're going to get the speed no matter what. Like half a gallon is still in the car, so
sure,
it's just something people do to make them feel a little bit better, or it's boredom. You're just kind of like running around on yellow flag, unsure of how to pass the time, so you just burn fuel. All
right, so we'll just call it down to a nervous tick there for Matt Wagner, who's bringing his car into a gear for the restart here. Pace car off. Field is under the command of Eric Schaus.
Gonna get wild now for sure.
And we're going to ride with Wagner here as we take the green flag. 5 to go.
I'm surprised there's no snaking. You see these guys at the front try and get rid of any draft they possibly can. But Schaus seems to be strong enough to feel that he could just ride his normal line and be fine.
Now, which way you're going to go? Wagner goes to the inside, the shallow end. Going to have a shallow entry into 2 unless he can get up a little bit. Moving up the racetrack, you see the different lane he changed there. Goes low entry into 3 or 2. Now he's looking at 3. He's higher on the racetrack. Going to have probably a car underneath him here. There it is. I heard it. There's Schaus underneath him. Coming to 4 to go. 10 miles.
Yep, Stouffer's already made his way by 1 car. He's trying to find the draft all the way in the back here to try and pick up maybe 1 or 2 more spots if he can. I think he can probably get 1 or 2 of these guys through turn 1 and 2.
Yep, fresh tires. Back up front. Well, there's the weave. The weave's starting now. Yep. And Schaus now to the lead. Brubacher's going to try to follow him through. Wagner kind of comes down a little bit, says, nah. Cuts the door. Schaus shuts the door there. Schaus going to lead off the corner. He's It's going to leave, car in the wall. That's okay. Looks like he just kissed the wall.
Stouffer just almost had a near incident on the front straightaway. I'm just watching him from the back here. Made his way past Gary Lover, and he's up to P6. And he's within striking distance of the lead pack there.
Pocono whisperer indeed. Rafi Eckert now to the inside of JB, looking for that position in 2. He will get to position in 2, move underneath T. Now he's looking at the going to 1. P1 is the inside going into 3 on Schaus. Pulls it off. Rafi Eckert to the lead, and here comes Chris Stouffer.
Yeah, Matt Widener's got the line there. He's going to get Eric Schaus's draft.
But we got 2 different types of lines, so the weave's not working. And here comes Stouffer, sticking it to the bottom. Oh, keep it going, keep it, good job.
Very close.
Stouffer was floating on that one.
But now he has the ability to check what the drivers in front are doing in order to try and see what kind of lines he needs to run. Looks like Schaus is just blocking on the bottom, but he's not leaving a lot of room for Stouffer to play with the outside. Very close between Rafi and a little bit of contact there.
T takes out by JB. We're gonna stay green. I think. Caution. Yassin and Rafi Eckert's your winner.
Wow, that was. I mean, I don't know how all the top 3 there just didn't get wrecked in turn 3. There was a little bit of a touch right on the left rear between
wait a minute.
Stouffer
Now we got Schaus now as the leader. So let's see what it shakes out. I saw Eckert when we went yellow.
Let's go back and look at that incident too. I wasn't paying attention to that.
It was coming off the corner. And that was Brubacher. And let's give it a little high view here. Brubacher, so Teed is the yellow car in the center of your screen there, the yellow and orange car you can see there. This is a blimp view. Brubacher net codes the wall.
That was he lifted way too much, and I don't think Teed predicted exactly what was going to happen there.
I don't think we have a good television shot here.
Yeah, I think Brubacher just caught some dirty air and didn't really know how to get out of it. Like, he knew he was going to go right into that turn 3 wall, and T was coming with a head of steam, and the 2 met right on the exit.
So we have Eric Schaus classified as a leader. The white flag has been taken. We are under caution. The pace car is out, and it is picking up Schaus on the main straight. Checkered flag in the air. Eric Schaus is your winner. 9 spots gained is your winner here at the Pocono 250. Rafi Eckert, not the win, but the podium. So 2 podium finishes for him today, and 2 very long races. Some tracks on 2 tracks that share very similar characteristics. And Chris Stouffer, what a recovery. Finishes 3rd. And that is how we're going to finish here at Pocono. Wow.
Yeah, I decided to watch Stouffer on that restart just because I wanted to see if there was any chance that there was some sniff of draft or anything, because he was racing back with some guys that were just trying to mail it in and get a good finish. And you knew he could easily try and get by, but yeah, Stouffer managed to find the right amount of draft to get himself right back up into the top 5 again, but he had such a run out of turn 1 that he was just flying by people on the front straightaway, or the back straightaway going into turn 2. So everyone was just kind of trying to find their way, and Stouffer just found a lane to get right back up on the inside again. I didn't think he was going to be able to get through like 2 or 3 of those guys entering 3. So that was pretty wild there at the end. That just shows how much these cars, the DW12s, have such a unique draft model.
Let's get the final standings up here in a moment. Purple lap went to Eckert there in the closing stages of 40.559. Here we go. Eric Schaus, your winner. Rafi Eckert, second. Chris Stouffer, great drive for him, P3. I'll take my hat off to him. That's a great effort. Matt Wagner, not as good as last week, but another top 5. So 2 top 5s to start the season. That's probably good for him in the points championship. Remember, there's always the war going on, not necessarily the battle being fought. A.J. Hobson fights back up to 5th. Lovern 6th. Morales 7th. Enger 8th. Svensson is 9th. Brubacher is going to be 10th. T 11th. Peterson 12th. Corley 13th. Altena 14th. Santos 15th. And moving on there, Putski 16th. Joseph 17th. Bowles 18th. Reeves 19th. Adams 20th, Rogers, Kane, McCarthy, and DeGroot round out the remainder of this 24-car field. A lot more carnage than I suspected, but I think that has a lot to do with netcode and many of the cases, and just really, really, really close racing. A lot of aero wash out there today.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those races where it could have and should have been a little more clean. But once you get into these caution rotations, everybody knows it's go time, and it's not saving anymore. It's all about trying to find your spot on the lineup there. So, unfortunately for some of these guys, there were some internet issues for sure. But yeah, I think some people are going to walk away from this a little bit unhappy.
All right, so let's see here. Is Stouffer? Do we see Stouffer at all? I'll try to bring him in. I do not see him. If you do not see him, I do not see him. So maybe he'll make an appearance a little bit later. Rafi Eckert is, and we can possibly bring him down to the move to... Boy, it's a lot of VCs in this server. Let's try to bring him on. Just drag him on down here. Can't drag him. There we go. And we got you in the booth. Rafi, congratulations. You're here with Gary and Andrew. Caution kind of ended it a little bit early for you. It was really close there on when the caution fell and whether you were in the lead or not. But it looks like that went to Eric, but a P2 for you. A good day overall. Win at Indianapolis earlier today, and P2 here at Pocono. Tell us about your race.
Hello, I'm back here today.
Yeah.
A good result for my first race in this league. A bit of frustration, so close to the lead.
Yeah.
But I need to check up at the exit of turn 3. That made the difference. New tires are so powerful at these 5 laps. I got forced to the pits because on the crash in my front, I got to the wall to not crash in the car in my front. But yeah, happy with the day, winning a championship, winning a race, and a podium. That was a awesome day for me. Thank you for my team. I wasn't qualified today. Both drivers with the same lap time. That was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Keep focus and get back next week, fighting for the win. Thank you.
Hey Rafi, did you find yourself saving fuel at all at any point during the race? Were you trying in that front pack to just kind of hold steady, or were you always trying to be the front car in that grouping there?
I tried at the mid of the race, trying to overcut drivers with better tires, but the yellow flags did not help anything today. Did not make any difference. In general, the race was flat out every time and tried to fight. But I tried really to save my tires to the end of the stint. Not easy to pass the 2 drivers in front with new tires, but when the car gets understeer, we can fight more easy at the end of the stint. But okay.
Yeah, I think there was one stop where you were maybe at the bottom part of the top 10, and then you took no tires, which put you up into the top 2 or 3 spots there.
That was Santos.
So that definitely helped you.
I think it might have been Santos, his teammate.
That might have been Santos. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Edson did not try to gain position. I think this was a iRacing bug, but
Oh, okay.
worked a bit for him. But
Gotta love those
unlucky day,
bugs.
No kidding.
yeah, unlucky day for Edson because he did crash in bot race today. But he wins the first race and he is on the fight for the championship.
Anybody you'd like to say hi to, shout outs to before we let you go here, sir?
Thank you for Norberto Martins and Liner Enger, my team partnerships. So happy for that. Thank you.
I got to try some learner energy. Apparently, that's the way to go now. Congratulations. We will see you in 2 weeks when we go to Iowa.
I love it, Iowa.
We do too. Chris Stouffer is in the chat. We'll bring him on up. Hey, Chris, congratulations. Wow. What a drive to recover all that lost space where you got into that, all the lost position, track position from the incident that had. At one moment, you thought it was over for you, and the next moment, you're right up there with the leaders fighting for the win, and you've come back to a podium spot. We were kind of saying in the show, you're kind of the Pocono whisperer. This is your place, and I think you kind of proved it. So talk about your race. Okay. He might not be at
Sorry
his.
about that.
No, there he is. There he is. There he is. Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I had multiple wheels and had to map out a button. Anyways, yeah, how was my race? That was hectic.
I bet.
That's the best word for it. The start of the race, going back to qualifying. Apparently, I missed the Mario go-kart, whatever Mario Kart shortcut for 1/10 of a second. I don't know what they did, but I didn't really practice qualifying. I practiced race setup, and the whole race. It was at one point it kind of got spread out and could kind of relax and swap draft, but of course, right there at the end, it just it was the floodgates just opened and it got real hectic real quick and. I was surprised I was able to make it back to third. I forgot to unclick my fuel, if you know, on iRacing, and took a full load of fuel. So I had to come back through the field with that too, which, in the end, I don't know that it hurt me because I got third. I came off of three. I almost said four. Came off of three.
I was guilty of that in the race. Sorry.
Yeah. I did come off of three with a really good run there as we came to the white flag, but I had that choice to make. I was like, I could dive low and take it, and I knew if I took it there, I was going to get passed again before the end of the lap. So I tried to take the smart move and just stuck in behind him, and caution came out, finished third. So, but I'll take it because, like you said, there was you asked me 10 minutes ago. I was pretty up. I was a little upset. I wasn't able to make it around to the pits. I didn't know where I was going to restart after all that. So yeah, it turned out pretty dang well.
Chris, when you were racing the middle part of the race there, when we had a long green flag run, did you find that it was easy to fuel safe? Did you find that there was opportunity for you to just kind of tuck in behind someone and make them put yourself in a spot where you didn't necessarily get washed into the wall, but you could save the fuel to maybe cut out like a splash and dash at the end?
Yeah, I was looking at that, and at one point we had like an 8-lap difference on fuel, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to save 4 laps for on 2 stints. So I was just going all out. But as it played out there towards the end, we did get to a point where fuel saving was the thing. We needed to save at least a lap, and then us up front, I think we all realized that, and it caused some mayhem going down into one. So that's unfortunate, but yes.
Did you find that there was a better line to go on the inside compared to how you drive the IR18? Because this is obviously a different car, so it seemed like there was a lot of more inside moves, and especially at the old Pocono, there's different grip levels compared to the new Pocono. So actually, answer that question, and also, is there one you prefer over the other, or could it be either Pocono? that you find to be your best?
Well, regarding the two Poconos, I prefer this old Pocono because I feel like there's more racing lines available that actually work well. Um, so I do like it. I think that showed in the race where we're 2 and 3 wide going through turn one, and even turn two isn't a thing, as you know as well as I do. In the new Pocono, it gets pretty tight in turn two. So I prefer old Pocono. Yeah, the difference in cars between the IR18 and this DW12 here, it took me a little bit to kind of remember, how to drive it, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
And, that I could follow somebody so closely. Um, the low line is a lot more viable because you can follow behind somebody a lot closer with the more downforce on the car. So, and as far as preferring a line, yes, I prefer the high side. I'll go gold trickle on them. I'll go high. I'd rather have all that track coming off the turn than being pinched down. Because throughout the race there, when we're swap drafting and everything, I knew going into turn one, I was burning up my tires. So I tried to flip it around on people, and I'd see them push up into turn one and get a little surprised. And, it'll catch you out, as you know. So, but yeah, I prefer the High Line. I prefer old Pocono. There's certainly a difference between the two tracks. The the old layout I think has a lot more character than the new one. I know it's still 3 turns and everybody, but if you actually get on track and you drive them, I don't care what car you're in. There's a difference, a huge difference.
Yeah, I think it took you not too long to get used to it because you and Eckert were the best at the swap drafting parade compared to everybody else that was trying behind you. You guys were doing about 3 or 4 tenths faster than everyone, so didn't take you long to catch on to it.
Yeah, it would have been nice if it went green, around that time. I know we were putting down some time on the rest of the field, but it was a long race. A lot happened in between then and the end. And I, with 10 laps to go, I didn't think I was going to be here talking to you. So,
we weren't sure of that either, but we were glad to see it. It was very interesting to watch.
No, thank you.
Shout out to anybody want to say hi to, sponsors, friends, family?
Yeah, shout out to 4D Racewear. Go to 4dracewear.com for your sim racing needs. And then, Dark Horse here, it's a fun league they put on. Everybody out here real respectful of each other. And of course, you guys up here in the booth, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you to the wife for letting me race tonight.
That's the important one, yes.
And, not that the kids will see it, but love the kids.
And that's the other important one. Well, congratulations on that P3, the impossible dream. He gets there at the end. Didn't look like it was going to be that way with about 10 to go, but that's why they run the race. So congratulations. Hope to see you in a couple weeks at Iowa.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to try to bring down Shouse. He is currently in a live stream channel, but we'll bring him down. Hopefully we're not surprising him. And there he is in the booth. Here is our winner, Eric Shouse. Eric, congratulations. The caution flies right at the right moment. You crossed the right timing strip, and you are the leader. You get the win. Great race for you. You were kind of stuck in the mid-pack at one point. Didn't have a great first pit stop, but kind of recovered thanks to all these cautions in the draft. And here you are, winner of the Pocono 250.
Yeah, thank you. I got a little bit of everything on this race. So, my mistakes, other people's mistakes, fuel strategy, racing hard. I got everything.
Well, tell us about your race.
Well, it started out pretty well. I didn't qualify all that well, but I wasn't too concerned about that. I felt like I had good race pace here, and I've, I race here pretty well. I was doing well. Coming up to that first pit stop, I said I'm going to go one more lap. I think I had I was right at one lap of fuel left coming up to the checkered line, so I figured I will give it a shot. I'll go one more lap. Made it around, and I overshot my pit stall and was out of fuel, so I couldn't reverse, and I had to tow. And so that is why I went about 15 seconds back.
Brutal.
Yep. About as bad as it gets right there.
Oh my God.
So I ate that one. I got to suffer in the mid pack for a little while, just kind of trying to catch draft with people, and eventually a caution came out and was able to get back with it, and then it was just working my way forward a little bit at a time until I eventually got up front there.
Yeah, I was actually going to piggyback off that one comment there, Schaus. There was the middle part of the race there. You were right in the middle of the top 10 there, just with a bunch of people who couldn't decide who to lead, who wanted to swap drafts, who wanted to move where, and it looked like you were just kind of sitting there going like, come on, guys, figure this out. And then eventually you went to the front of that pack and tried to swap drafts. I think it was with Yari, or it might have been with I think it was Peterson at the time, or Charles Teed. But anyway, talk about kind of how frustrating it is when you get into the middle of the pack there and you can see the guys driving away 2 seconds ahead, but no one can figure out how to swap draft properly. Everybody wants to be that car up there. How do you kind of put yourself right into the front of their pack there to swap draft?
Yeah, there was one person in particular that just had no interest in doing anything other than fighting, even if it meant losing the draft in front. And that's fair. If that's what they want to do, they can do it.
There's always one.
There's always one. Unfortunately, that meant on many restarts, we lost the draft to the top 3 guys, whoever it was up front. And they would continue to fight you, and you just kept falling back. So at that point, you just have to, accept where you are, fall to the back of that pack, save some fuel, save some tires, and go for it. And then later on in the run, we did have an opportunity to swap draft. I think it was me, Teed, and Hobson. The 3 of us were trying to swap draft, but we're all working together to try and do it. There was nobody fighting. We just could not run as quick as those guys up front, the 3 of us together. So again, just had to kind of accept where we were and wait for the caution. We knew one was coming. It was just a matter of when. So it was just being patient and waiting for that to happen.
And then, of course, the one quick incident you had with Stouffer we all recognized was a netcode incident. But were you actually, because you had sat in 4th place that whole time, did you think that was your opportunity to get to the front? Because it looks like you were trying your best to get on the inside there and try and jump to the lead. Was that your move to get up to the front of that race, or were you just trying to get yourself a little bit more ahead of the 4th place?
Yeah, that was very opportunistic for me. It was one of those where I had a decent run coming out of 3 and had a decent draft pulling up to those guys. And when Stouffer went low, I went with him. And then I was a little surprised by the move. He went back up in front of Matt, which gave me the low line. So I figured I've got a huge run here. I'll just send it underneath. And yeah, like you said, unfortunately, it was netcode. I could tell right away in the car, the way his car just kind of spun out. It felt like netcode to me too. And I'm glad it was. It sucks that it's netcode. I'm glad it was netcode. The last thing I want to do is wreck people there with a couple laps to go. So just unfortunate. I'm glad he made it back to 3rd. He deserved that.
Very hard-earned victory, racing all over the place. If anything could have gone wrong, it looked like it did, except for getting the win. So yes, I'm sure that you have, I'm sure you got some people you want to thank, whether it be starting with God or somebody else. I know that you definitely feel lucky. So you got the microphone, go right ahead. You've earned it. And then after this, go out and buy a lottery ticket because you are the man tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody was out there looking out for me tonight, so I appreciate that, whoever that was. Thanks to you guys. I'm looking forward to going watching this broadcast. It's going to be a great one, I'm sure. So I'll be watching that later on. Thanks to the guys around me. It was all pretty good racing, and this was a great track and a lot of fun to race with everybody. Thanks to anybody that was out there watching the race, any fans. It's always nice to have people out there supporting us. So thank you.
Well, congratulations. Next week, or actually 2 weeks from now, we get 2 off weeks, so you get a long time to enjoy this win here, Eric. We're going to Iowa, so we hope to see you there. But with the win, that's going to get you back up into the points, which I'm sure is very welcoming, and a good start to the season. So congratulations, and we'll see you in Iowa.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So before we get into closing statements here and everything, tonight's race coverage has been brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in today's description. Of course, Stouffer is a 4D driver and a big fan of their gear. They've been a longtime supporter of RaceVerse. I'm a big fan of their stuff as well. Check them out at 4dracewear.com. Andrew, good to have you as your leadoff race this season for our combination of coverage that we got going on forward for the remainder of this DW12 season 7 here in Dark Horse. What did you think of tonight's race, and then what do you think of going forward here, going through a whole different type of track, but it also could be the same type of racing at Iowa?
Yeah, it's a little different to commentate a different car, even though it's kind of the same car from what I'm used to, just because of the different drafting model and the different strategies people use at different tracks. There's a whole different array of things you have to consider when you're driving this car. So unfortunately, it took me, I thought I could just jump right into it and be an expert, but I had to kind of watch and pick up on a few things before I felt really comfortable. But, we got through it. The first, I don't know, fifth of the race or so, I was still just getting my sea legs, as it were. But yeah, no, it was fun. And these guys really put on a show every time we come out here, and I'm looking forward to the next opportunity.
And that will be Iowa in 2 weeks. And I was saying that we're looking at a different type of racetrack, but you and I both know, and we've both been in these races, that in this car, with the right setup, Iowa could become a pack race.
Yeah, Iowa is definitely a breed of its own. It races like a super speedway, even though it's only less than a mile long.
Yeah, 7/8.
Just a touch under a mile long.
Yeah.
So it could go either way, depending on how these guys make the setup. It could be a pack race, or it could be strung out, and people trying to make some opportunistic moves as well. So we'll have to see how it goes in a couple weeks.
And there you have it. So that's it today for, once again, your podium from Pocono. Eric Schaus with the win. Rafi Eckert, P2. Chris Stouffer finishes third. We finished under caution, but that doesn't really account for the great action we saw leading up to that. So congratulations to the podium. Join Andrew and myself again in 2 weeks for round 3 of the Dark Horse DW12 series. The teams and drivers head to Iowa. Coverage this season begins around 8 p.m. Eastern time. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern. And as always, you can find everything you need here right here at youtube.com/RaceVerse. Make sure to subscribe. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceVerse with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below to let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video, would you? If you're new, click subscribe. While you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of RaceVerse's other iRacing programs. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, ISRA Trucks. We'll be covering out me and Mark Murphy. That's tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern. Keep your browser set here for most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceVerse, we know what Indy means. Dark Horse DW12 series help brought to you by 4D Racewear. Once again, check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. For business inquiries and a little more about what we do here at RaceVerse, visit raceverse.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. So for the Catalyst Andrew Wood, everyone at RaceVerse, I'm Gary Gatto saying to all, happy Sunday, and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here in 2 weeks at Iowa for the next race of the Dark Horse DW12 series. Good night.